Good morning, my dear and joyful people. Can I hear all of you in the joyful noise? That's pretty good. Y'all, joy is an act of rebellion, and at this time, we need more rebellion. I think I'm going to have to ask you again, my good and gentle people. Can I hear you make a joyful noise? Yes. I love to hear your cries of freedom in the morning. It's important that you showed up this morning, gathering together in community. The microphone's not working. Resilience and joyful. And we have multiple batteries. How about this? How about this? Oh, you know what I'm going to say? It is an act of rebellion that you showed up together this morning. Gathering together in community is an act of rebellion against isolation and hopelessness. And what do we say?
We are rebels for hope.
Absolutely. Let's sing about it. Everybody get to your feet, rise in body and or spirit. We're going to sing our opening hymn, Freedom is Coming.
Okay. Unitarian Universalism is a faith that is spiritually alive, value-centered, and radically inclusive. We begin each service by kindling a flaming chalice. Those who came before us lit this flame as a beacon of welcome to those in need of a place of sanctuary and belonging. We strive to continue that legacy here today. We kindle this flame with words from the Reverend Michelle Collins. Come in from the margins, come into our circle. Here we stretch wide a doorway of belonging. No need to polish your edges or hush your truth. We gather not in sameness, but in shared seeking. Take a breath. Set down what you carry. You are welcome, wholly and wildly, in this place.
Dear ones, we are very, very, very fortunate today. We have 3 ministers and a Harvard Div School grad in the house. I know. Today we're fortunate enough to have our guest speaker, Reverend Tommy Airy, with us. He's one of the founding members of Christians for a Free Palestine. He often says that he followed Jesus out of evangelical Christianity. And he's going to deliver a message for us today on Christian Zionism, but can we give him a big welcome? But wait, there's more. Also today, after the service, Dr. Elliot Ratzman is here, and he is going to be here in the sanctuary to present a talk on anti-Semitism as a roadblock to peace and justice, a view from the left. Dr. Ratzman is that Harvard Div School grad I was talking about. He also went to Princeton, and he's a research fellow at U of M, so he's got some steady credentials, and I'm really excited to hear from him. Can we welcome Dr. Ratzman as well? So I'm so excited to present what we have to present today, and I'm really, really grateful that you all came to hear the good word.
And this is the announcement time. You can find ways our community works for love and justice on the back of your order of service. First, due to the lack of snow this week, today's Kensington sledding has been canceled. Yeah. Next, we are creating blessing bags for unhoused people next Sunday, January 18th at BUC, where the service is held. Right? Yeah. Yes. Yes. A list of suggested items to bring can be found in your weekly newsletter. It was in there, the one that I got Friday. There will be an MLK service project for families at Cass Community Social Services on January 18th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Families will be helping prepare, serve, and clean up lunch. Sign up is required. That link can be found in your newsletter. Northwest will be having their first congregational meeting of the new year on Sunday, January 25th at 12 p.m. Meeting packets will be sent out soon. Next, a thank you for all who participated in our collective naming process. After tallying the votes via ranked choice voting, the winner was the Greater Detroit UU Collective. Yeah. And last of all, there will be a drumming circle here in the sanctuary on Thursday, 7 p.m., which is actually after the soup.
Tom, I got one.
Yes.
Is that okay if I can?
Sure. Okay, well, the last one.
Okay, this is the last one, I swear. Y'all, you know how every year we do a big to-do about MLK Sunday, about the Sunday after MLK Day, and other churches come and join us, and it's a thing? Well, Detroit Sanctuary is without heat, as you know, so we're actually going to move it to BUC, because look around, could we fit 2 more congregations in here? So we're going to move the service to BUC. Birmingham Unitarian Church, that's where we're going to be next week at 10:30 a.m. And here's the thing, they're going to let us do our service in their sanctuary. So I need you all to show up so we can show BUC how to party, okay? All right. This is all really good stuff to know, but the most important thing to know is that no matter who you are,
what you believe or who you are, who you love,
where you're from or what identities you hold,
with all of your joy and gifts,
with all of your pain and your history,
you are welcome and wanted here.
Come, let us worship together. Let us enter into a time of respite with the healing power of music.
Okay. May we now all embrace childlike wonder with a story for all ages. This is a story from the book Each Kindness by Jacqueline Woodson.
So this isn't a super happy story, but it's a hopeful story, and it's one of my favorite authors. Each Kindness by Jacqueline Woodson. That winter, snow fell on everything, turning the world a brilliant white. One morning, as we settled into our seats, the classroom door opened and the principal came in. She had a girl with her, and she said to us, "This is Maya." Maya looked down at the floor. I think I heard her whisper, "Hello." We all stared at her. Her coat was open, and the clothes beneath it looked old and ragged. Her shoes were spring shoes, not meant for snow. A strap on one of them had broken. Our teacher, Miss Albert, said, "Say good morning to our new student," but most of us were silent. The only empty seat was next to me. That's where our teacher put Maya. And on that first day, Maya turned to me and smiled, but I didn't smile back. I moved my chair, myself, and my books a little farther away from her. When she looked my way, I turned to the window and stared out at the snow. And every day after that, when Maya came into the classroom, I looked away and I didn't smile back. My best friends that year were Kendra and Sophie. At lunchtime, we walked around the schoolyard, our fingers laced together, whispering secrets into each other's ears. One day, while we were near the slide, Maya came over to us. She held open her hand to show us the shiny jacks and a tiny red ball she'd gotten for her birthday. "It's a high bouncer," she said, but none of us wanted to play. So Maya played a game against herself. That afternoon, we got back into the classroom. Maya whispered to me, Bet you can't guess who the new Jacks champion of the world is." Behind me, Andrew whispered, "Chloe's got a new friend. Chloe's got a new friend." "She's not my friend," I whispered back. The weeks passed. Every day we whispered about Maya, laughing at her clothes, her shoes, the strange food she brought for lunch. Some days Maya held out her hand to show us what she brought to school: a deck of cards, pickup sticks, a small tattered doll. Whenever she asked us to play, we said no. The days grew warmer and warmer. The pond thawed. Grass began growing where the snow had once been. One day, Maya came to school wearing a pretty dress and fancy shoes, but the shoes and the dress looked like they belonged to another girl before Maya. "I have a new name for her," Kendra whispered. "Never New. Everything she has came from a second-hand store." We all laughed. Maya stood by the fence. She was holding a jump rope, but did not come over to ask us if we wanted to play. After a while, she folded it double, rolled the ends around each hand, and started jumping. She jumped around the whole schoolyard without stopping. She didn't look up once, just jumped, jumped, jumped. The next day, Maya's seat was empty. In class that morning, we were talking about kindness. Miss Albert had brought a big bowl in class and filled it with water. We all gathered around her desk and watched her drop a small stone into it. Tiny waves rippled out away from the stone. That's what kindness does, said Miss Albert. Each little thing we does goes out like a ripple into the world. Then Miss Albert let us each drop the stone in as we told her what kind of things we had done. Joseph had held the door for his grandmother. Kendra helped change her brother's diaper. Even mean old Andrew had done something. I carried teacher's books up the stairs, he said, and Miss Albert said it was true. I stood there, holding Miss Albert's rock in my hand, silent. Even small things count, said Miss Albert, but I couldn't think of anything, and I passed the stone on. Maya didn't come to school the next day or the day after that. Each morning, I walked to school slowly, hoping this would be the day Maya returned and she'd look at me and smile. I promised myself that this would be the day I smiled back. Each kindness, Miss Albert had said, makes the whole world a little bit better. But Maya's seat remained empty. And one day, Miss Albert announced to the class that Maya wouldn't be coming back. Her family had to move away. Then she told us to take out our notebooks. It was time for spelling. That afternoon, I walked home alone. When I reached the pond, my throat filled with all the things I wish I would have said to Maya, each kindness I had never shown. I threw small stones into it over and over, watching the way the water rippled out and away, like each kindness, done and not done, like every girl somewhere holding a small gift out to someone, and that someone turning away from it. I watched the water ripple as the sun set through the maples, and the chance of a kindness with Maya became more and more forever gone. I'm wondering if any of the children here would like to share a joy or sorrow before we send them back to class. Would anyone like to share? Oh, I see a hand back there.
Yesterday was my sister's birthday party, and our two of our friends slept over.
Here's the birthday girl.
The friends that slept over, they got to go to church with us.
Okay, we're going to light a chalice for the kids to take with them when they go to their Sunday school.
Does anybody want to come carry the chalice? What about the birthday girl? Maple, you want to come carry the chalice? Here you go.
Okay.
Careful.
So, please join me in singing to the children, those here, those in the world, and our inner children. Hymn number 1051, We Are. And sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, the morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of Each month, is this on? Yes? Okay. Yeah, each month we share our plate with a community partner. This month that fund is the Southfield Human Services, which has the Southfield Emergency Needs Fund. Southfield Human Services strives to offer services and opportunities to promote personal growth, independence, dignity, and respect for the citizens of Southfield. Together, our generosity multiplies. All undesignated donations will be split between Southfield Human Services and our congregation. A link to give virtually is posted in the Zoom chat, and no matter what you contribute to the church, be it funds or time or simply the generous presence of your spirit, know that we are so grateful for your gift. Let's step into gratitude together. Please read aloud the words of dedication which are found in your order of service. To the work of creating beloved community within and beyond these walls, we dedicate ourselves and our offerings.
Grateful to be with you. Made the long commute from Detroit this morning with my spouse, Lindsay, who's sitting right over here. We have matching updos and face masks. And I'm so grateful that Julie and Eli are giving me 15 minutes to preach a sermon that really needs probably 15 hours to preach. It is a deep, heavy subject. I'm gonna.
Oh, I'm
no,
sorry.
I'm not launching in. I'm just saying hi real quick. But I also want to say that I look forward to being available afterwards for conversation, to listen, and to talk. Rafat Al-Arir wrote this poem. Palestinian professor from Gaza. Left Gaza to get his PhD in Malaysia and came back, chose to come back to Gaza. Gaza has the highest per capita population of PhD recipients in the entire world. This is a smart place, contrary to how it's depicted in the media. And Rafat Al-Arir wrote this poem in 2011 for his daughter Shaima. who is about the same age as Emma, who is going to be reading this poem for us.
Okay. Should I read the poem or should I say the name or should I just read the poem? Okay. If I must die, you must live. To tell my story, to sell my things, to buy a piece of cloth and some strings, to make it white with a long tail, so that a child somewhere in Gaza will looking heaven in the eye, awaiting his dad who left in a blaze and bid no one farewell, not even to his flesh, not even to himself. Sees the kite, my kite you made, flying up above, and thinks for a moment an angel is there, bringing back love. If I must die, let it bring hope. Let it be a tale.
Thanks, Emma. One of the first times that I remember hearing that poem was in Washington, D.C., at the Capitol Rotunda with hundreds of Jewish comrades from Jewish Voice for Peace. Lindsay and I joined them in D.C. for a nonviolent direct action where we dressed up as tourists and then showed up together chanting and singing in the rotunda. It's got incredible acoustics. And we all got arrested. It was loud. And then all of a sudden it got really quiet. And a rabbi stood up right in the middle of all of us and recited this poem from memory. We were calling on the United States government to stop sending arms to Israel. And this was about 8 months after Rafat al-Arir was murdered in Gaza. Lindsay and I were there with our Jewish comrades because we felt like this was part of our own repentance and growing up in evangelical Christianity, growing up in Christian Zionism. We both grew up in the suburbs of Southern California. I attended a fundamentalist Christian school. And in 4th grade, my teacher, Mr. Cavallero, who I loved, every morning after our Bible reading, he would say, God said it, I believe it, and that settles it. It was a religion of certainty. We were right, and we were on the side of might. This Christian Zionism that I was trained up in, as it turns out, is this about 180-year-old ideology. It's rooted in what's called Christian dispensationalism. The guy who invented this is named John Nelson Darby. He connected the rapture, the coming back of Jesus, to the establishment of Israel. And this Christian Zionism was connected to the beginning of the Bible, Genesis 12, I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse those who curse you. Those who bless Israel will be blessed. Those who curse Israel will be cursed. And the connection was that this biblical Israel is the modern state of Israel. God said it, I believe it, and that settles it. And that was the end of story. And then you turn to the end of the Bible. Revelation chapter 7, there is this strange passage about 144,000 children of Israel who will be saved in the end times. This idea that when Jesus comes back, Jews will have an opportunity to get saved if they give their hearts to Jesus. This is at the root of Christian Zionism. And it was started 180 years ago officially, but it really is a continuation of this manifest destiny mentality of Western Christianity in the United States. Names like John Winthrop, who wrote this, A City Upon a Hill. The extermination of indigenous people was the proof of their superiority. We did it, so it must be right. It was rooted in this Hebrew Bible text, this Old Testament text, 1 Samuel 15, these genocide passages where God commands the Hebrews to annihilate the Amalekites, utterly destroy all that they have, do not spare them, but kill both man and woman, child and infant, ox and sheep, camel and donkey. Genocide is built right into it. And we heard Benjamin Netanyahu use this text just 3 weeks after October 7th to justify what has been done over the past 27 months. But all of this comes back to Christian Zionism. The first Zionists were white Christian Zionists from right here in the United States. And over the last 50 years, we've seen this kind of white Christian nationalism proliferate in names like Jerry Falwell and Mike Pence and Mike Huckabee, and Pastor John Hagee, a pastor of a megachurch in San Antonio who started Christians United for Israel, which today has 11 million members, which is significant because that's more than the number of Jewish Americans here. John Hagee is noted for blaming Hurricane Katrina on the LGBTQ community because they had a gigantic conference in New Orleans right before then. John Hagee once said that God sent Hitler so that the Jews can go back to the promised land. John Hagee once called the Catholic Church the great whore from the book of Revelation. John Hagee is a white Christian nationalist. This is consistent throughout this whole narrative. But inconveniently, there are also very powerful liberal Christian Zionists as well. Bill Clinton, Pete Buttigieg, Joe Biden, Brene Brown, William Barber. From full support to Israel's actions, to both sides posturing, to just silence. They're also fully complicit in what's happening in Gaza. And embedded in this kind of liberal Christian Zionism is a lot of post-Holocaust Christian guilt, protecting relationships with Zionist colleagues and neighbors, and a lot of Zionist propaganda in corporate media outlets like the New York Times and The Atlantic, which is run by a former IDF prison guard by the name of Jeffrey Goldberg. The Zionism that dominates the corporate media outlets in both major political parties today was started by white Christian nationalists who were trying to rid the Western world of the Jewish population. John Nelson Darby, the man that I mentioned before, wrote from Jamaica in the late 1860s, lamenting what happened to Jamaica after the emancipation of the enslaved population. Deeply racist, deeply implicated. in all of this kind of Christian nationalism. Frederick Douglass, who escaped from slavery and wrote 2 autobiographies. In his first, he includes an appendix in which he differentiates the Christianity of Christ from the Christianity of this land, what he called slave-holding religion. Frederick Douglass describes that slave-holding religion as the climax of all misnomers, the boldest of all frauds, and the grossest of all libels. It's fake. It's a heresy. It has nothing to do with the Jesus of the Gospels. The overwhelming majority of Jewish people in the West were hostile to Zionism for the first 6 decades of its existence. They did not trust white Christians for good reason. The horror of the Holocaust shifted the situation dramatically. And then the Holocaust was weaponized by Western powers to create a colony for themselves. In 1979, James Baldwin, possibly the greatest writer of the 20th century, got clear about this whole situation in his open letter to the born again in The Nation magazine. He wrote that the creation of Israel was not for the salvation of the Jews, but for the salvation of Western interests. Why is Israel decimating Gaza, expanding settlements in the West Bank, invading Lebanon, Syria, and bombing Yemen, Iran, and UAE? Because this is what powerful Western interests want Israel to do. The oil industry, the weapons manufacturers, and the racist, Islamophobic, and anti-Semitic Christian Zionists are calling the shots. But as soon as the state of Israel becomes unprofitable for corporations or too unpopular among the American public, the state of Israel and its Jewish population will be expendable. This is how the US empire has always functioned. The only way forward is dialectical. Love and justice demand Palestinian liberation and Jewish protection. Unfortunately, Western politicians and corporate media outlets are not serious about either of these goals. Which brings us to Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, and Marjorie Taylor Greene, who over the past 8 months have been incisive and clear about what Israel is doing in Gaza. They have named genocide. The problem with these independent characters, these Christians, is that they are Christian nationalists. They are deeply transphobic. They are deeply anti-Black. And they are anti-Semitic. They're not part of this kind of movement that is for Palestinian liberation and Jewish protection. And this is what I saw yesterday in downtown Detroit, in the freezing rain. Hundreds, if not 1,000 folks standing there in Hart Plaza demanding that we abolish ICE, demanding that we stop interfering in other countries and abducting foreign leaders. When I was there yesterday and I looked around, it was all the same people that were organizing that protest have been organizing protests and marches for the last 27 months here in Detroit. It's the same people. It was Jewish comrades like Rabbi Jake Ehrlich and Dr. Dana Kornberg that recruited Lindsay and I to hit the streets in the weeks after October 7th and to organizing meetings and to direct action. And along the way, we met a lot of Muslim folks and a lot of Palestinian folks, and a few Christian folks here and there that are all part of this multi-religious, multi-ethnic, multiracial movement that is gaining steam, that is against every form of supremacy that we are experiencing here and that we have experienced here in the United States, and that can see that Palestine is not just one issue. It is part of an entire system of supremacy here in the United States, here in the West, here in the world. And so I want to end with Rafat al-Hariri. All of this leads us back to Rafat al-Hariri and his iconic poem that he wrote for his daughter Shaima, "If I must die, you must live to tell my story." On December 6, 2023, Rafat al-Hariri was murdered by the IDF, and 5 months later, they murdered Shaima too. So I'll end with this question. Now that they are dead, who will live to tell their story? Amen.
Okay. Please join in singing our next hymn, number 276, O Young and Fearless Prophet, in whatever ways you are comfortable.
No, we're going to do the last one.
Oh.
We skipped one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, please, it's number 10, sorry. Number 1035, Freedom is Coming.
This one, I want us to stay attuned for all the ways that freedom has been used for the wrong narrative, for the ways that people in this country have been demanding the wrong kind of freedom, for the ways that freedom has not been given to the right people. I want us to sing this song for the real kind of freedom, the freedom that Tommy just spoke to, freedom that speaks for the oppressed people, freedom for the Jews who are being used as a wedge against their own will to give them safety that is not safety for all, freedom for all the tyrants in this world who believe in the story of separation. I don't want us to be singing for a freedom just for us in this room. I want us to sing for the real freedom. So please, sing out. Let's sing for freedom. Of freedom, of freedom, of freedom, freedom is coming. Of freedom, of freedom, of freedom, freedom is coming. Of freedom, of freedom, of freedom, freedom is coming. Oh, freedom, oh, freedom, oh, freedom, freedom is coming. Oh, yes, I know. Oh, yes, I know. Oh, yes, I know. Oh, yes, I know. Freedom is coming. Oh, yes, I know. Oh, yes, I know. Oh, yes, I know, freedom is coming. Oh, freedom, oh, freedom, oh, freedom, oh, freedom, freedom is coming. One last time. Oh, freedom, oh, freedom, oh, freedom, freedom is coming. Oh, yes, I know.
Remain standing if you would like to. This is a time that we acknowledge everyone who showed up to be together in beloved community today. Turn toward one another. Look and acknowledge each other. If you'd like to make a reverent gesture, if the person next to you would like to hold on to each other, please do so. Folks, I want to say one thing. I want to thank Tommy for being here today. And I want to say to my Unitarian people who might be going, what does all this Christian stuff have to do with me? I want to say this, something that my Jewish brothers and sisters and brethren all know is that regardless of what they believe, they come from somewhere. They are a thing. They have a heritage and a tradition and an ethnicity. And y'all, so do we. We come out of something. We have a legacy to continue. And if we ignore that, because we don't believe the same dogma that the people that are using it for war and pain believe, then we are letting them have the tradition and the heritage and the institutions that are powerful enough to stand up. This, too, can be what the tradition of Jesus looks like, and in fact, it has to be. We may step back from specific theology. We may not give up our duty to stand up against our legacy of dominance.
Please repeat after me. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of hope. The warmth of community. Or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. In response, we are whole. We are holy. We are holy. One another.
I have a little bit of a longer benediction, so bear with me. Last month, the UN reported that 3,474 Palestinians are being held in Israeli jails without charge or trial under administrative detention. And as we all know, the abductions are not just happening over there, they are happening over here too. More than 75,000 of those arrested by ICE in the past year have no criminal convictions. The number of these includes a 32-year-old Palestinian woman named Leka Cordia, who over the past 27 months has lost more than 100 members of her own family to genocidal violence unleashed by Israel in the West on the people of Gaza. During the spring of 2024, she drove from her home to New Jersey to Columbia University to join the masses calling on the campus to divest from companies profiting off of genocide. She was arrested by the NYPD and released the next day. The charges were dismissed, but last year, she was targeted by ICE and arrested again on March 13th. More than 300 days later, Leka Cordia is still sitting in a prison cell in Texas. On June 4th, Leka Cordia wrote a statement in Arabic from her cell, and her loved ones translated it into English. A few lines into it, she writes this: "Peace be upon the mothers who buried the remains of their children on street corners and still chose to keep living." A few lines later, "Peace be upon those who pull the living from beneath the ruins, from the darkness of rubble to the light of afar where relief is within reach." And then, a few lines later, she lifts up those of us who are no longer willing to be confined by the cage of the supremacist status quo. To you, the free people across the world, the rebels, the defiant, the unwavering, peace be upon you in my deepest respect. This week is the lead up to MLK Day. In a recent interview, journalist Chris Hedges was asked, "Where is this generation's Martin Luther King Jr.?" Hedges responded, "Probably in a prison somewhere." Maybe he's in a prison cell in the occupied Palestinian territories. Maybe she's in a prison cell in Texas. Free Lecca Cordia, free all political prisoners, free Palestine. Amen.